Good morning, everybody. It's Shelly from Shelly's Losing to Live, and this is my first post-op video. I haven't been with you guys in about a week because I've been working on that whole recovery process. I had my surgery on last Tuesday, November 15th, 2016. I had vertical sleeve gastrectomy with Dr. Korn at St. Luke's Hospital in Boise, Idaho. So the official weigh-in for my surgery date was 247 pounds. So that's the weight I'm going to go with for my surgery weight. My highest weight recorded is about 271, but it actually was in the 280s at one point, but that was a few years ago. But anyway, I'm not going to worry so much about what was. I'm just going to work on what is. So my official weigh-in was 247. I do have a written blog that I keep at losingasap.blogspot.com. And I write there sometimes more frequently than I do videos. If you're interested in my journey, I did kind of keep track while I was in the hospital and a little bit more detail than I may cover in this video today. I'm not really sure where it's going to go. I have written some notes and I'm going to refer to them, but whether I talk about what I wanted to talk about or get off on a tangent, who knows what will happen. So, surgery went as planned. The doctor got me in right on time. I was taken to the operating room right around 9:30 a.m. And next thing I knew, I was in recovery. And one of the reasons that I came into getting this surgery and deciding to do this surgery was my health in general. It's not just about getting thin, but it's about my health. And I have diabetes. My mother died from complications of diabetes a couple years ago, and I really just did not want. I saw myself following those same patterns that she did. And anyway, I was pretty dismayed to hear in recovery the nurse tell somebody that my blood sugar was like 389. I could not even fathom having blood sugar that high. And it scared me pretty bad to think that my blood sugar was so high. But I'll talk about that a little bit more later on. They took me back to my room, and my husband was there, and he filled me in on what the doctor told him. So apparently they got in there to do the remove my stomach, and my spleen had somehow attached itself to my stomach with some blood vessels, and they couldn't just cut through those blood vessels because then it would damage my spleen. And so they had to do some extra surgery, and they actually removed a small portion of my spleen in order to get my stomach out. And a little unusual, but because of that, I had total bed rest the first day. They didn't let me get up. They didn't let me walk. They didn't remove the catheter. They didn't let me drink anything. So for that whole first day, I just laid there and I pushed my pain pump. And to be honest, it really wasn't that bad of a day because that pain pump's pretty amazing, and I didn't really feel anything other than I couldn't think straight. But I didn't really have to. So that whole first day, I laid there, and I couldn't drink anything, but they gave me a little sponge on a Q-tip kind of popsicles. What do you call it? Like a lollipop stick with a sponge on the end of it, and I could dip it in water and dampen my teeth a little bit or my tongue, but I couldn't actually swallow anything. And to be honest, I was afraid too. I wasn't sure what was going on inside of me. So the second day, they came in and they removed the catheter, which was great. And they got me up and started walking me around. I had such wobbly legs. It was amazingly funny to see me try to walk. It was kind of embarrassing, actually. But I got the hang of it and started walking and did a lot of that. By that evening, the nurse on duty who had been watching me that day was concerned that I hadn't peed at all. The catheter came out like at 10 o'clock in the morning, and here it was about 5:36, and she left at 7, and she was like, I need to call the doctor and see what we should do. And so they did a bladder scan and discovered really nothing was very, didn't really reveal if I had trapped urine or if I just wasn't creating any urine. So, the doctor said I had to have the catheter put back in, and I don't know if any of you have ever experienced a catheter being put in when you're wide awake, but it is not a pleasant experience. And on top of that, they took my pain pump away a couple hours before that, so all I had for pain was the Dilaudid they were giving me every 4 hours. And I'm sure it's a great drug, but I never really felt like it touched the pain like it should have. And the pain pump did that, but I also knew I couldn't just, have morphine all for the rest of my life. Although, yeah, I can see how people get addicted. So, so they put that catheter back in, and I had the most miserable night of my life, and the gas pain set in, and I just laid there and moaned and groaned, and for the first time since all of this began, 5 months ago or so, I had regrets. I'm like, well, what did I sign myself up for? Because this is miserable, and I don't think I can handle this. And anyway. But the next morning, I asked the nurse to help me get up, and she did, and I started walking, and that helped, and they took the catheter out, and that helped too, and I started trying to drink fluids, which was a joke, because, it just there wasn't enough, but they had an IV going through me, so I guess I was getting enough liquids. So finally, we got the doctor, after he gave me a stern warning about getting my fluids in and getting exercise and, going on a walk every hour and all of that. He went ahead and sent me home. Before they did, they had a diabetic nurse come in and talk to me. And like I said before, I've had diabetes for about 10 years. It's type 2 diabetes because of my weight. And it's also in my family. My mother had it, my grandmother had it. On both sides of my family, my grandmothers had it. So they'd been checking my blood sugar every 6 hours, and it wasn't 389, but it was still in the 200s, and it was concerning. And so the doctor was pretty sure that my diabetes is going to go down to normal, but in the meantime, I have to manage it with insulin. And I've never used insulin. I've always treated my diabetes with oral medications. And so, obviously, I can't swallow those big horse pills any longer. And so I had a nurse come in and teach me how to give myself insulin, and I have to do 2 kinds of insulin. So anyway, but since I've been home, I had my blood sugar down to 138, which was awesome. This morning it was back up to 156, but my goal is 120 or less, because if I can get it to 120 or less first thing in the morning, I don't have to take any insulin, because I don't want my blood sugar to bottom out. So anyway, I guess it's just something I'm going to have to watch. So I found out the first day I got home that I really can't sleep in my bed. It's too soft, and I'm a side sleeper, and I can't sleep on my side right now. One of my incisions is so very painful still. It's quite large, and it's on my right side, where I know my stomach is on my left side, but my guess is this is maybe the one they had to use to work on to take the stomach out, and whatever else they did in there with my spleen. And so that incision is really quite painful still, and gas and bloating, and just in general my insides feel like they've been tossed around, stomped on a couple times. So I can't sleep in my bed, and I've tried, but I come back downstairs and I prop myself up on we have this oversized armchair, and I just prop myself up with pillows and doze off and on. What else? My pain threshold's been pretty low. I usually have a pretty good pain threshold, but I don't know why, but this time everything hurts. But I have weaned myself off of the Dilaudid. I'm not taking that. Well, I will take it if I get extremely in pain today. I'll take one. Yesterday I took 2 the whole day, so like 1 in the morning and 1 right before bed, because I was going to try to sleep in my own bed last night. It didn't work out. I lasted till about midnight, and then I come back downstairs, and I'll just keep trying. I just gotta get more comfortable. Everything in my digestive system seems to be working fine. I'm very happy about that. I took care of business this morning, which is the first time since 7 days, but thank you. One thing occurred to me, actually my husband mentioned it before he headed off to work this morning, was that, you realize you've had no solid food in your stomach for 7 days. He says it's a wonder there's anything to even come out of you. So I that's true. I haven't had anything other than liquid inside my tummy since last Sunday, and this is Monday morning. I feel like I'm really distorted in my topics here, and I apologize. I tried to write down notes, as I said, but I'm jumping around, and I don't know how interesting this really is. So now my goal every day is just to I have a fluid tracker that they sent me home with, and I'm trying to make sure I get in all the liquids that I can, all my 4 protein shakes. I did buy a bunch of Inspire protein, powdered protein, which is whey isolate, which it's great stuff. It's from this company online. However, I just can't get it to not clump on me, and it's foamy, and I don't like foamy. And so I finally threw my hands up in despair yesterday and told my husband, would you just take me to Walmart, because I think I just want to get Premier Protein. It's already mixed. It's okay, and I'll just drink those. And so he did. And I'm not driving yet because I'm still taking the Dilaudid occasionally, and I just didn't want to have anything narcotics in my system. But plus, I don't think he would have let me. He was watching me like a hawk all weekend. So tracking that, getting my liquids, but the one thing about me that's difficult, I guess, is I'm not really a sweets person. I had Jell-O, popsicles, Gatorade, Crystal Light, protein shakes. These are all sweet, and I am somebody who got overweight because of proteins and carbs and savory things, and I miss that so much. And I didn't think this would happen, but making that cup of chicken broth that they want us to get some salt in, that's like the best tasting thing in the world right now. It's crazy, but I'm really sick of sweet things. But with my doctor, the diet that they have me on, I have 2 more weeks of liquid diet, so I will stick it out and do, do the best I can. I also have bariatric vitamins that I finally got all of them in yesterday, and I'm going to just keep my checklist, and I'm going to try really hard to just check everything off that I can. And really, I think just getting the whole 64 ounces of fluid in is the hardest part. I finally broke down, and instead of, I've got these little Dixie cups, and I poured like 3, and I'm going to drink this one, this one, this one, then I know I've accomplished a goal. Because I'd swear, I get a cup of something, and I take a drink, and I take another drink, and I swear the water level never goes down. Never getting anywhere. So I'm working on it. I've also set timers on my phone to try to remind myself to drink, but I just feel like I don't want anything, and so it's hard. Although it is funny, I did want to talk about some food awareness. I'm not hungry, not at all. I guess I might be, but my body doesn't seem to send me that signal that I'm hungry. I occasionally have pressured gurgling going on down there. It's quite funny. I'll have pressure that kind of wraps itself around my shoulders, like air in there, and then it goes away. And I don't know what that is, but it seems to be something, either air or maybe it's just liquid trying to work its way down. Everything's a little bit delayed, so I have to be careful not to take too many sips thinking, oh, that was easy, and then find out, ooh, that last one wasn't easy. I would advise anybody having the surgery that when you get home from the hospital, start taking stool softeners 1 a night. I used Colace. My doctor had recommended that one, and this is day 3 using it, and worked. That was such a relief. I had a little yay moment because I just did not want to go through that discomfort. I do see my doctor Wednesday, so I'll have my first follow-up. As I said, I weighed in at 247. I don't know what my weight is right now, to be honest. When I got home from the hospital and I weighed myself the next morning just out of curiosity, whereas my doctor scales, hospital scales, my scales always weigh me lighter than whatever the doctor's is. And I probably am going to use my scale because that's the one I'm going to be using all the time. And plus, I weigh myself first thing in the morning, nothing on, Whereas you go to the doctor, you're wearing your shoes and you're wearing jeans and the whole works. And so I kind of like the lightest one. So, but my personal scale said 253 the morning after. So I came home with weight gain. But I kind of expected that. I felt like I probably did. I was so bloated. My stomach was so extended out and uncomfortable. And so I knew that had to be coming from somewhere. I guess Wednesday when I weigh in at the doctor, or that morning before I go to the doctor, that'll be my official 1 week weigh in. I'll just take that because I'm not prepared to take anything else. And I have weighed myself since then, and it's gone down. It's gone down. There's nothing big and drastic. I don't understand these people that say, in 1 week I lost 18 pounds, because I don't even understand that, but good for them. So the only thing I could think of that was one last thing that I thought was interesting was, well, I'm not hungry, and I started to talk about this and went on a tangent. I was watching a TV show this morning because I couldn't sleep, and this person was chomping on an apple, and it just looked so delicious, and I thought to myself, an apple sounds good right now. I think I want an apple. And then, hello, you can't eat an apple. It was just such a weird, kind of a little trigger went off in my head. See it, want it, have it. And now it's see it, want it, hello, you can't have it. Even if you wanted it, even if you could have it, you can't have it. So it was just an interesting thing. Also, when we went to get my protein shakes yesterday, my husband decided to pick up a rotisserie chicken to eat for his dinner. The poor guy's kind of been eating hamburger helper and lunch meat. I haven't cooked and I'm not going to, and he probably wouldn't have let me do so anyway. And so he picked up this rotisserie chicken, and we get home and all the groceries are on the counter, and I'm kind of opening up the bags and putting them away, and I'm having that pain. I just drank that stuff. Okay. And the smell of that chicken just like came right up in my face, and I was just like, whoa. It was like the most heavenly odor in the world, and my body just kind of reacted like, eat it, and of course I couldn't eat it, but geez, almost a reaction to go for that. And I told my husband about it, and he's like, well, have some. And I'm like, no. And he goes, it's like the doctor told you, you'll only do it once. I'm like, yeah, I don't even want to. I haven't had any nausea at all since this surgery, and I don't want that. I know some of you have had awful nausea, and I've been very fortunate to have avoided that, and I want to stay on track with that. So, anyway, this is a rambling kind of recap of the last few days. Like I said, if you want to read about it, you can at my blog, losingasap.blogspot.com. And, I already have a journal there of my whole journey since the beginning, and a lot more stuff about me. And if you're into reading, that's cool. But if you're not, I understand too. It's kind of just for me, but there's been bits and pieces that I remember when I'm writing that I don't remember when I'm doing a video, because I get really rambly on here. Also, forgive any typos or whatever you see in the last 3 days. I've done it all on my iPad, generally with my left hand, because this one had an IV in it, and every time I bend it or do anything with it, alarm would go off. And you can see the nice bruises on this one. Nice. So it was just awkward, but I just haven't had the ambition to get the computer out and do it the right way. And I also just haven't had any energy this last week, so I haven't really wanted to even do this. But I do appreciate the well wishes and the thoughts that have been out there for me. And I will talk to you all real soon, at least with an update on week 1. And this is quite a long video. Yay for me. So if you watched it to the end, thank you very much. And I'll touch base with you again soon. Bye-bye.